It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ, a business variety show for anybody that's picking up the show for the first time. A little something different each morning as I talk to many different professionals, entrepreneur, political, and civic leaders about what they're doing in our community to make a difference. So it's a positive show each morning, a little something different. So I invite you to take a break from all the political news and sports talk that's on our airwaves each morning with a show that's got a whole different flavor to it, a business variety show about what's going on in your community. As always, I invite you over to my website, tampabayradio.com. Over there, you'll notice a couple of things. First, all shows available on demand via the show info tab. And also, we do stream the shows here live in studio, so click on Watch Live Streaming. You can see the videos. And we do put those videos up on demand on the site, as well as my YouTube channel also. And you can also peruse all of the local real estate listings, as I do sell real estate. It's actually how I got on the radio to begin with years ago, doing the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. But after I do the radio show each morning, I head over to my office, and it's all business as I sell real estate the rest of the day, specializing in the sale of bank-owned properties. But again, I'm out there available to list and sell your home. If you're looking to possibly put the home onto the market, please feel free to get in touch with me. A couple different ways to get me. Contact form on tampabayradio.com. Right across the menu bar, just click on the word contact. Send me a message, or you can just send me a direct email, jamie@tampabayradio.com. And always love to hear from the listeners, too. If anybody just wants to reach out to me, give me some feedback, some ideas, or if you're interested in making an appearance on the show, feel free to get in touch with me. Also, connect with me on all the different social media sites, facebook.com/That Business Show. And you also find me on Twitter under Jamie_Meloni. Got an exciting show planned for us today. On the second part of the show, we talk with Anna Englert, founder and CEO of Putnam Healthcare Advocates. So that's going to be on the second half of the show. And the second guest coming up today is going to be Billy Quarantello, who is a professional MMA fighter and currently on the TV show The Ultimate Fighter, where the grand prize is a UFC contract. So very excited to talk with them here in just a little bit. But up first, I got on the phone line Frank Parrish, who is the owner of CMIT Solutions Suncoast and has over 20 years of experience in supporting large global clients in the manufacturing, consumer products, and financial services industries by providing significant client business value to his clients through IT service-based solutions. Frank, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for allowing me to join you on the show.
Absolutely. So, Frank, tell the audience a little bit about your background in IT solutions.
Well, so it's been a long journey. I've spent many years in large corporations like Hewlett-Packard and IBM, working in their consulting organizations, their R&D organizations, and outsourcing areas. And the last big stint was spending a couple of years with my family living in Mexico, where I was running IBM's outsourcing organization for the country of Mexico. Okay,
and CMIT Solutions, what is this exactly, and how did you get involved with them?
Yeah, again, it's kind of a journey, and part of it is trying to address a personal need. I've been traveling kind of nonstop for 20-plus years, and so most of the times I would see my family on the weekends if I wasn't in a country over in Asia or something like that. And one of my daughters, I have three lovely little girls and a son, but one of my daughters made a suggestion that I should get off the road, and she made a suggestion I should buy Disney World, but given that wasn't really an option, and of course, you know, it's kind of selfish on her part, of course, you know, she'd like to be able to see Disney every weekend. But anyway, since I couldn't buy Disney, the idea was to look for something that would allow me to get off the road and spend more time with the family and do something I enjoy doing. And as part of the process, started looking around for the right things and ended up finding the CMIT opportunity. And started engaging with that process and seeing how we could build a business in the Tampa Bay area.
Okay, so CMIT Solutions, this provides managed IT solutions for businesses, and you have a variety of services. Am I correct in that statement?
You are very much correct in that statement.
Okay, yeah, elaborate a little bit on the services that CMIT Solutions provides to businesses out there. Yeah,
so we provide services in the kind of the classic sense in the infrastructure and some of the application areas, but primarily in infrastructure, really focusing on providing support for people with laptops and desktops, as well as servers, and of course the networking that enables them to get onto the internet and transact with their clients. So we provide those supports. We do monitoring of the environments as they exist, and of course we have a help desk as people call with issues, for example, Microsoft Exchange issues or Microsoft Office quirks. We support them in all those issues.
Who are your ideal clients? I mean, do you look for large businesses? Do you serve small consumers as well? But, who are your ideal clients out there that you can help?
Yeah, we can support a variety of clients. Really, the target for this opportunity is mostly in the small, medium businesses. Large IT or large organizations classically will have large IT staffs. Now, we do have some clients where we provide the local support for those larger enterprise clients, but mostly it's in the small and medium business areas where they may have one or multiple servers and between 5 and, let's say, 50 employees on site.
What would you say, of all the different, IT solutions and things that business owners need to be aware of out there? When you consult and work with business owners out there, what is the one area where they're lacking? Is it that they just don't have their servers protected enough? They're not, doing a good job in the network area? Well, where are business owners struggling?
Yeah, it's struggling, I think, in a lot of areas. I mean, there's the looming threats of course, the viruses that hit our clients and the world and impact the business that people are trying to transact, including the ransomware type of products, which are really destructive. But the classic things that we deal with are areas where they've gotten some equipment, they've implemented the equipment, but they just don't have the ongoing skills to monitor and manage that equipment. Clearly they are in business for doing a certain thing, and it shouldn't be focused on IT. It should be focused on providing value to their clients and their businesses. And so appropriately, they're focused on that, and IT tends to be something as a secondary thing or tertiary thing that they look at, and it's just part of doing the business. We come in to assist them in providing those services and support to enable them to be able to offer the right client experience for their true end clients.
Now I'm over at your website, cmitsolutions.com. I see you have a number of different success stories, but put you on the spot. Does any come to mind that you'd like to share with the audience? Any good stories of success or any ways that you really benefited and really helped somebody set themselves apart in their business?
Well, a lot of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis are thankfully, just the routine issues where a service has failed, and so we've had to address that. I think the area where we've had to really step up and really help clients is where they've had specific failures with some systems, and then we scramble to work them to recover those systems, especially in the case of viruses and things. One of our recent issues is very much that we had a client that all of a sudden, hardware does fail, especially in the electrical storms that we tend to face here in Central Florida. And as a result, they lost a server. And so we scrambled very quickly. We were able to notice that something went down because we monitored 24/7. And once we saw those events coming in, we were able to contact them, validate things, went on site, tried to do our recoveries, and now we're positioning how to enable their business to continue as we continue to rebuild and restore all their environments. Fortunately, again, we focus a lot on the backup and recovery aspects so that they didn't lose any data. It's now just working through the process of getting them back to an optimized IT state.
Well, you're definitely a resource then for business professionals out there in the community. Real quick, go ahead and give out contact information, best way to get you for any of my listeners out there that are needing some IT solution support out there.
Yeah, so we, of course, have websites, but the way to most easily reach us is our phone number is 888-579-3890. We have offices based in Palm Harbor, but we support clients in the Sarasota, Manatee, and Polk counties as well. We also have a sister organization in the Brandon area, and Ann Spire over in Brandon will be happy to assist you as well. She's at 813-574-2900.
Okay. Frank, I appreciate you checking in with me very much on That Business Show. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And that was Frank Parrish with CMIT Solutions of Suncoast, and you can learn more about them, cmitsolutions.com. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking with Billy Quarantello, with an MMA fighter and on the television show The Ultimate Fighter, so stay tuned for that interview. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Well, some good news as far as the Veterans Expressway goes. All lanes now back open between Hillsborough and Waters. There was a car fire in the northbound lanes, and that had a lane shut down there momentarily. So you're going to find some minor delays from the airport northbound. Southbound, of course, typical delays from the Dale-Mabry connector southbound all the way to that accident scene. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm up.
This report is brought to you by Office Depot Office Max. At Office Depot and Office Max, all HB ink is buy one, get one 40% off. Office Depot and Office Max. Gear up for great. Limit 2. Multi-packs count as one. Mix or match of equal or lesser value. Ends 10/10.
Today, mostly sunny with just a 20% chance of showers, high 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 74. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 87.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business, each weekday morning at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. And as always, you can learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Time to bring in my next guest for the show. Billy Quarantello is a professional MMA fighter fighter. After receiving his associates in business administration, he decided to move to Tampa to pursue his dream of becoming a world champion prize fighter. Currently, he is on the reality TV show The Ultimate Fighter, where the prize is a UFC contract. Billy, welcome to the program today.
Thanks for having me, Jamie, man. How are you?
So you're on a business show. You got associates in business, and you decide to make your office an MMA ring. Why is this?
Yeah. So and before that, I heard about your show and where business meets show business. I'm definitely in the show business.
Yeah, we were tying it together right here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So definitely, thanks for having me. I think it's a perfect platform for me.
Thank you. So how did you get into the MMA fighter? Were you like a tough kid growing up and like to fight or something? How did you know you were a fighter?
Honestly, growing up, I probably took more beatings than I gave. I was kind of a smaller kid, and I always had a big mouth. Growing up in Buffalo, we always had something to say. Having 3 older brothers, I would get in a lot of fights, and I did enjoy business, but I enjoyed this a lot more, and that's what I'm doing, pursuing my goals and my dreams of being a
but what attracts you to the MMA environment? Why not boxing or wrestling or something where it's a little bit safer than MMA?
Absolutely. I'm a fan of all those sports, boxing, wrestling. It's, I train in all aspects of martial arts. To me, I don't have the greatest attention span. If I'm bored with something, I move on from it quickly. And the beauty about MMA is every single day you're coming in and you're working different aspects of your game, and you get to do something new every single day. And there's always more work to be done, and there's always chances to get better. And so that's like the journey I'm on, is getting better every single day and trying to master my craft of all these martial arts into one. Now,
are you training at a center in Tampa? Is that where your training is based also?
Yep, absolutely. So I train at, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, the best gym in Tampa, one of the best gyms in Florida, Gracie Tampa South, head instructor Matt Arroyo and Rob Kahn. Those two guys have shown me, so much stuff on the mat and off the mat. Matt Arroyo especially, he's, one of my mentors that has really helped me out, and the gym is doing incredible. We have a great team and a whole great squad over there.
So when was your first fight outside of the TV show and everything? You're a professional MMA fighter as it is already. When was your first fight? When did you get into the business?
Absolutely. So I got in, and when I first started, it definitely wasn't. I didn't consider it a business because as an amateur, you're not making any money at all. They're not even allowed to pay you. And so my first fight was actually where I grew up in Buffalo, New York. And, I lost a close decision to a kid with a lot of experience. He was 4-0, real good wrestler. And, but that kind of lit the first fire, knowing that, even after the loss, I knew it was something I wanted to do. I loved it. And right from there, I knew it's something I needed to, draw out a plan of what I was going to do. And I decided to move to Tampa after that first fight. And kind of the rest is history. I've had 19 fights, being in Tampa. I only have 2 losses, 1 professional loss, 1 amateur loss, and everything else has been great. It's the best decision I've made to move here and to pursue this as my goal, my career.
Now, fill me in. I've watched some MMA from time to time, but what are the rules of MMA? Is it a 3-round bout? What are the times? Yeah. How does the fight go?
Yeah. It's similar to boxing. There's less rounds because there's a lot more action. Boxing, you're just throwing punches and kind of moving around. With MMA, you're pretty much allowed to do everything. With the exception
no biting and hair pulling. Yeah, those are the only 2 things, right? Or below the belt stuff, right? Yeah.
What makes it?
What's that?
No groin strikes.
Right. Yeah.
No, it's not exactly a street fight. It's not a street fight, but it's pretty close. You're not allowed to grab the hair. You're not allowed to scratch, pinch, bite.
Right.
Groin strike. But you're allowed to go for takedowns. You're allowed to punch. You're allowed to kick. You're allowed to elbow.
How long are the rounds? Are they 3?
Yeah, it's 3 5-minute rounds for
3
the most
5-minute
part.
rounds. Okay.
Championship fights are 5 5-minute rounds. Those can obviously be super tiring. Luckily, I have not had to go the distance inside, but training, we do it all the time.
What do you specialize? Are you a striker or are you a submissions expert?
I started off doing jiu-jitsu. When first got into mixed martial arts, but in this sport, today's day and age, you have to be good everywhere. So I started off doing jiu-jitsu with submissions, grappling, jiu-jitsu, but got into striking, quickly after that. And so pretty much for the 5 years, I've really worked everywhere. But my jiu-jitsu's, really good, and my striking has come a long way, and that's usually my game plan going into fights.
So in a fight, you're more likely to knock somebody out versus putting him in a submission hold or making him tap out or whatever.
At this point, every fight I go into, I'm looking for the finish, and that could be either way. I'm always practicing different submissions, different ways. I can get a knockout. Whether it be a punch, a kick, a knee. And
is there a certain submission hold that is your forte? I know, like with Ronda Rousey, the arm bar or whatever.
Oh yeah, she's very good at the arm bar. Mine is, I wouldn't say I have one specific one, but what I do have is a bunch of different submissions that I've been able to land in fights, which makes me dangerous because they don't really know exactly what I'm going to go for. Ronda Rousey is the exception. If a lot of other people, if they only have one specific move, if they're not the best of the best of the best at it, like Rousey is, then if they know it's coming, it's going to be a lot easier to avoid. If someone has a lot of different moves and a lot of different setups, it's going to be a lot more difficult.
So who is the better fighter, the submission expert or the striker over just the broadly speaking?
Yeah, and that's a great question. It's been debated since that's really how MMA got started. They got a huge tournament. They had a jiu-jitsu guy and they had a wrestler and they had a striker, and they wanted to see what martial art is the most effective. At the first UFC in 1993, it turned out to be jiu-jitsu. The jiu-jitsu guy went out and he ended up submitting a wrestler and a striker, and winning that tournament. Today's day and age, it's really the best guy is the one who has honed their craft the most, who's able to implement their game plan. Whether like let's say if I was purely a jiu-jitsu guy, if I'm able to go out there and do what I want to do and get you to the ground, I'm most likely going to get that submission. But if you're well-rounded, like that's obviously my goal and everyone else's goal to be well-rounded everywhere. It's whoever's the best at that area and whoever's able to go out there and use their game plan to get whatever that it is that they're looking for.
Yeah, because I've been told by a number of fighters that people that grow up as a wrestler, because all fights end on the ground or they get on the ground somehow, and so wrestlers are trained to work onto the ground, and so they have the advantage over those who practice the punches and the kicks, and that's just general.
I would absolutely say wrestlers have a huge advantage. That's actually kind of been my weakness. I have 2 losses to wrestlers. I've never had a problem with strikers or submissions guys. The thing with wrestling is, especially guys who were at the D1 level, like Division I wrestlers, they can really dictate where the fight goes. If they're striking and they're not doing well, they can look for that takedown. But wrestlers are also really good at defending takedowns. So if they're doing well striking and they want to keep it there and, you can't get them down, that means you have to stay where they want to be. So wrestlers definitely have an advantage. But, if you're a really good striker, you might be able to knock that wrestler out.
Yeah, just research Chuck Liddell or Anthony Rumble Johnson. Those guys are wrestlers, and they pretty much dictate the pace of the fight, and they can keep it wherever they want. So wrestling would be the best base. For you, working with high-level athletes like TJ Dillashaw and Uriah Faber, did you pick up any wrestling from them? Because they both are very strong on the ground.
Absolutely, and that's kind of something that, going to, being on the show with Team Alpha Male, they have a gym out in Sacramento. All of them are good wrestlers. Uriah Faber does a good job. He recruits guys to join his gym from D1 colleges out there, D1 wrestlers who already have that good wrestling base. They pick up a little bit of striking. They learn a lot of knowledge from him. He's been in the game for a long time, and they're instantly good fighters. Some of that wrestling, they had guys like Lance Palmer, who's a 4-time All-American wrestler, TJ Dillashaw, who's a 2-time All-American, all these guys, every single day working with them and showing me their wrestling. I learned a ton of cool stuff that I brought back with me, and now I'm showing my guys in Tampa.
What's your training regimen like each day? Do you do? Is it pretty much 2 a days? What's your training regimen?
Yeah, that's for the most part. It's for the most part. I train a decent amount at nighttime. Usually have a lighter morning. It's usually 2 a days, anywhere from like 4 hours a day, maybe even a little bit longer. If I'm in training camp, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Sundays has always been our day of rest, and it's good for your body to heal. You go through so much striking and grappling and that daily grind. Having Sundays off are important, but yeah, usually 2 a days.
Very cool. Coming back from the break, I want to talk with Billy a little bit more about his involvement on the show, The Ultimate Fighter. And again, I'm currently talking with Billy Quarantello, a professional MMA fighter here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. In the meantime, be sure to check out my website, TampaBayRadio.com, and we'll be back in a moment on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tile, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information. It's a free service, so call now.
Call now, 800-908-0586, 800-908-0586.
Tune in to the Robert Palmer Saving Thousands Radio Network. Today, beginning at 1 p.m., Robert will show you how to be a financial ninja, teaching you the secret consumer tips the banks and credit cards don't want you to know. Listen today at 1 p.m. and be enlightened.
800,000 artists, 20 million songs, 1,500 live radio stations across the country. Create your own station from your favorite artist or song. Download the app now at iHeartRadio.com. Brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. Check out goldendiamondsource.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Just hearing about a crash on Park Boulevard near Seminole, also Doomey Road near 54th Avenue North. Crash on eastbound Almerton near Lake Avenue and also eastbound Almerton near Roosevelt. And the southbound side of the Veterans Expressway is still very slow from Hutchinson to Waters, northbound slow from Hillsborough. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uderick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the National Safety Council and the University of Iowa. Did you know your car talks to you? Are you listening? All those beeps, vibrations, and lit up icons are your car's way of communicating. To help you be a safer driver, learn more at mycardoeswhat.org.
Winds, Weather Center forecasts, upper 80s, low 90s for the high today. See a mix of sun and clouds, rain chance, isolated showers, about 20% for the afternoon. And tonight's low is a little more mild into the mid-70s. Similar day tomorrow, rain chance will go up to about 30% and a little more cloud cover Friday. Impact Radio, 1250 winds.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. And as always, please visit TampaBayRadio.com, where you can learn more about the show and catch all the shows on demand. Currently talk with Billy Quarantello, who is a professional MMA fighter, and on the show, The Ultimate Fighter. So, Billy, how did you get involved with the show?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So, one of the first things I watched, one of the first things that got me motivated to be a fighter was the show The Ultimate Fighter, and it actually premiered 10 years ago. And I watched it, and I was still in high school, and I was thinking, I'm like, oh man, that'd be so cool if I ever had an opportunity to be on the Ultimate Fighter, to be in the UFC. And fast forward to where I'm at, the Ultimate Fighter is a show that a lot of fighters want to get on. If you can get on the Ultimate Fighter, you can get out in front of the whole world. It's shown in 30 or 40 different countries, and so it was a huge opportunity. So I found out about this tryout that they were having for it. And it was for lightweight fighters. Lightweight's a weight class above me at 155 pounds.
I was going to say, what is your weight class?
Featherweight, 145
okay.
is where I'm at now. But I fought at lightweight, when I was, coming up through the ranks. But, I was able to manage my diet and realize 145 is the right weight class for me, just being, 5'10", not a huge, stocky guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out about the, I found out about the tryout. It was in Las Vegas. So I decided, my coach, and a couple of my teammates decided to head out there and give it a chance. And, there's 500 fighters there. So I had to do something to, kind of stand out. So we went out there, and, there's hundreds of fighters there. Everyone, was, you get a spot on this show. It's a huge opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of separates yourself from all these other guys that have a similar record. So what I did was, I already had a good record. I already knew some of the producers just because, being in the fight game, I've known a lot of fighters that went on to the UFC. But a lot of people do. A lot of people know these producers, so everyone kind of has those edges there. But the way I deciphered myself from these other guys was, they do a grappling portion and a striking portion. So for the grappling portion, you come out in front of all these producers, in front of these people that, they're going to decide your fate. If you do well, or if they like you, you could move on, and vice versa. If they don't like you, or you just kind of blend in. I noticed that a lot with a lot of the guys there. Everyone was wearing the same thing, and putting myself in their shoes, everyone there looked the same. So I wanted to do something to stand out. So after talking with my trainer, Matt Arroyo, and this guy's name is Monster Lobster. That's his nickname.
Monster Lobster?
Yeah, do you remember the Monster Lobster? He used to have a lobster stand in Tampa.
No, I don't.
It got super popular from the show. And,
Gotcha.
And just because it was, he's from Maine, Monster Lobster. Great guy. I talked to him a lot as well. So they kind of convinced me of what my game plan was. So going into the grappling in front of all the producers, I decided to wear like a full suit while I grappled. So instead of wearing, like shorts and a T-shirt where it might give me an advantage with grappling, instead of taking that route, it would also make me blend in my opinion. So I went out there in my suit and I grappled, like pretty much wrestled and tried to submit this guy. And, I did decent grappling, but what really, I did well with him. But what really made me stand out and set me apart a lot from these guys with similar records was that just having the tenacity to go out in front of them and, competing with a suit on, which is, very unorthodox. Like, why would you do that? And luckily I didn't rip my suit, and luckily it gave me, they liked it enough to at least give me a chance to go into the interviews, which then at the interviews, it was funny, right after the grappling, I went into the interview, like right after. So I looked very unusual grappling in the suit, but then right after, I'm at the most important interview of my life, and I'm still wearing a suit. So I kind of thought that was funny that I was prepared for the interview, even though I was, it seemed like I wasn't prepared for the grappling, even though that was my plan the whole time.
Very cool. Now the show, what channel is it airing on, and what time is it on?
Yeah. So it's on the East Coast. It's at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. It's been airing. I actually, so I got into the house. I ended up winning the first episode. I won my show by knockout. TKO, technical knockout. And it's at week 5 now. And actually, last night's episode, I actually lost my fight to one of the European guys. So, I'm sorry, I'm clearing my throat. I actually lost to one of the European guys. So it was an unfortunate fight for me. They just aired it, and the fight actually happened 2 months ago. So for the last 2 months, I was kind of, right after it, I was kind of upset about it. But it was such a good opportunity, and the guy I lost to is one of the best fighters, one of the best European fighters on the show. So, my hats were off to him. He's very good, and I'll be at that level back in the UFC with no doubt in my mind. I'll be back in, with an opportunity to fight in the UFC.
Very cool. And the show is still airing, right? So we don't know how it turns out just yet.
I can't talk about anything else besides what has happened, and that's why I thank you for having me right after that episode and kind of talk to everyone about what happened. It's kind of been a weight lifted off my shoulder because right after the show's airing, you have to sign a lot of contracts saying you won't talk about what happened. And that was very tough. People asking me what happened.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, man, I just want to tell them what happened, but I'm not allowed to. So now I can kind of move forward with my life, look for that next fight, look for that next opportunity.
Well, you have nothing to be ashamed of by any means. You're on the show. You're an excellent fighter, and we tend to be our own worst critics. So don't let that get to you. Nobody's looking down on you.
A lot of people have told me that, but I'm in a competitive sport because I have a competitive, spirit, and anytime I lose, it's it's devastating me just because how much work I put in.
But yeah, you're the only one putting that weight on you. I can tell you that right, because I do it too. Whether I don't do good on a radio show or in my profession in real estate, people don't even notice. They may think about it for a second, and then something else comes up.
Absolutely.
So don't let that weigh you down. Got to end up this interview, but Billy Quarantello, professional MMA fighter, and also on the show, The Ultimate Fighter. Thank you very much for being in studio.
Thanks for
with
having me,
today.
Jamie.
I'm going to take a quick break, and coming back from the break, I'm going to talk with Anna Englert, founder and CEO of Putnam Health Advocates, here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 Wins WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Couple accidents in Seminole, one along Toomey Road at 54th Avenue, also one at Park and Seminole Boulevards. Farther to the east, we have slow traffic on eastbound Almerton between 49th Street and Roosevelt. Southbound Veterans Expressway still very slow from Hutchinson to Waters. And southbound Dale Mabry, very slow approaching Limebond due to a crash. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick Hillsborough. Traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Office Depot Office Max. At Office Depot and Office Max, all HB ink is buy one, get one 40% off. Office Depot and Office Max. Gear up for great. Limit 2. Multi-packs count as one. Mix or match of equal or lesser value. Ends 1010.
Today, mostly sunny with just a 20% chance of showers, high 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 74. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 87.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find me here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. live in studio every day. A little something different. Talking to many different professionals, entrepreneurs, business, civic, political leaders, you name it. I've probably had them in the show. Been doing the show now 5 days a week since beginning of February. And I myself been on the air going back 2 years now since doing the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show back in September 2013. And we're expanding. I'm actually going to do a sixth show starting on this Sunday, October 11th, on 970 WFLA, a very well-known AM talk radio station. Very excited to be on that show, or that station, I should say. And so the show is going to begin airing Sundays at 5 a.m., and it's going to be That Business Show, the Real Estate Edition. And it's going to be, again, a real estate-centric show. So for all you people out there looking for tips and information on real estate, that's what that show is going to be about.
Do they plan to re-air that sometime during the week?
I'm not certain yet. We're still working out some of the logistics and the spots and all that type of stuff. But, the show will definitely be available on demand. I'm going to start a separate podcast for that feed. So people that listen on iTunes, there'll be a separate broadcast for that, and also on TampaBayRadio.com. But a lot of real estate information, especially foreclosure, since that's what I do. And so I got a lot of good talking points and stories to share. And I'll be doing the show this Sunday with Frank Cotto with Lincoln Lending Group. So it's going to be me and him on the inaugural show. So be a lot of good information coming out about real estate on that show. So consider that a resource out there in the Tampa Bay market for real estate information. Sundays on 970 WFLA at 5 a.m., but then rebroadcast, of course, on TampaBayRadio.com. Time to bring in my next guest for the show. Anna Inglett is the founder and CEO of Putnam Health Advocates. Her 30-year career has been spent entirely in healthcare, beginning as a therapist working with spinal cord, stroke, and traumatic brain-injured patients. Since 1999, she's been the owner of several companies relating to healthcare revenue cycle, care management, and patient advocacy. Anna, welcome to the program today.
Jamie, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I
always get excited to talk about advocacy.
So let's talk a little bit about what Putnam Health Advocates, I keep wanting to put healthcare in there, Putnam Health Advocates. What is this company about?
So we are care managers and patient advocates, and our objective and our goal on behalf of our clients is to help them navigate their healthcare journey.
Okay.
So we work with them before, during, and after to make sure they have the best outcomes. We look at cost, how do they control the cost, and how do we bring resources together to help them be successful.
Okay, so your primary client then is the patient itself, so you're not working with the doctors and stuff directly, or do you?
We liaison with them.
Okay, how do you tie into the professional side then, as working with doctors and things like that?
We attend physician visits with our clients. We might visit them in the hospital. We might call, some of our nurses may call doctors and look at treatment objectives, look at treatment planning, look at care plan outcomes, and what does that client need to do, and what do we need to put in place to have them be successful.
So when I first was looking at this, my mind immediately went to like home health care, but it's not that type of service. No. So elaborate a little bit more on the services then that you provide for patients.
Okay, sure.
Is it like support systems for like cancer patients, or so elaborate on this for me.
So we have some what we call our core disciplines, and those are medical bill audit. We'll look at medical bills, insurance problems. We'll look at disease management, chronic disease management, care management. We'll look at how do we bring resources together and manage them. For example, managing those home health folks, managing those home care folks that are providing those services. So those areas are really what we provide to help that patient be successful and remove those obstacles that impede their care outcomes.
So why should a patient then have your service, Putnam Health Advocates?
Well, much as you would hire an attorney for an issue or an accountant for an issue, an advocate is trained and has the experience and the skills to help you navigate through your healthcare journey.
Okay. So I guess at what level, though, of a disease or a medical situation, or should you hire somebody at a younger age, when you're not maybe afflicted with a debilitating or a chronic disease, for instance?
That's a great question. Our youngest patient has been 3 days old. Our oldest has been 103. So that whole spectrum, everyone can benefit from having a healthcare advocate. And again, it's not necessarily during the journey; it's before, during, and after. I think we're extremely valuable, and where our services is really needed. So really, anybody can benefit. So it's just a matter of: do you want to have your medical bills audited? Do you have an insurance issue? Do you have a recent diagnosis of cancer? I mean, whatever they can benefit from.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you have insurance and you come in there and you audit, do you find a lot of situations where, you can put stuff back on the insurance company for the patient? Because people kind of take what they get. Well, this is what it is. This is what it is.
There was a study that Harvard University did several years ago and found that 80% of medical bills are incorrect. And so we just assume that they're right, and they're not. So having your medical bills audited, for example, is extremely important because there are tons of ways to save money in your healthcare costs, and most of it is in your bill.
Yeah, see, I wasn't even aware of this service until I met you. So is there other services like this? Was this something, how did you come about creating this service for the community?
When I started Putnam, we started it based on revenue cycle for hospitals and physicians. So we provided billing, coding, collections work. And one commonality that just kept happening is that no one was really representing the patient. So we would go after the insurance company. We would go after the patient to pay the bill. And about 2008, we decided to just pivot our business model and work exclusively with patients. And at that time, there were very few advocacy firms out there that did this kind of work. Now there's still not many because it's very complicated, detailed work. So with that in mind, we created our healthcare advocacy side, and it's just taken off. So
I was going to say, so how is the demand for this service out there? Because, again, this is not something, a traditional service that I would think to. If I go to the doctor, I wouldn't think I need to have a patient advocate. So.
Right. So our markets are primarily in 4 different areas. One is consumers. 2 are employers. Employers will add this as a benefit to their healthcare insurance benefits. So they'll have access, their employees will have access to us. Providers will use us to follow complicated cases at discharge. And the other one is attorneys. Attorneys hire us to audit medical bills and follow, some of their clients through. But primarily it's on the employer side and the consumer side.
Okay. And your services, I guess they would be nationwide,
yes.
For instance. It's not just Tampa-based.
We're located here in Tampa, but we've got advocates all over the country.
Okay. So how does it work for people out of the area? Do you have a call center then that people call into? Yeah. And your website, I'm over at PutnamHealthAdvocates.com. And I'm looking at then, again, just the different services that you offer. We were just talking about medical bill review, provider fee negotiation. How does this work? If you go to the doctor and you don't like the price, you call you, and how's this work?
Well, and again, that's part of the service of the before the journey. So our clients will call us and ask us, how much, I've got to have this procedure. Can you talk to the providers and get the proper codes? And we will call and give that information and find out what the pricing detail is. Go back with the client, look at their insurance policy, look what will be covered, and make a projection based on out-of-pocket costs. Sometimes providers will negotiate. Okay, they may not want to wait on the insurance reimbursement, so we can go in and negotiate with them on the front end, sometimes on the back end, to get the case settled. So
now,
there's lots of options.
With the big change in healthcare over the last few years with the rollout of Obamacare, how has the introduction of this, new medical, environment affected your business? Do you have a lot of people that are confused that are coming to you for support with, navigating Obamacare, for instance?
Yes, we are one of the certified application counselor organizations, so it's part of our volunteer effort as a company to help consumers understand that. So far, it's been okay, but we've not seen the influx of people coming in and trying to get on Obamacare that we thought. We're very surprised by the amount of people that have not.
So the buy-in is not very strong from what you're seeing, and you're right on the front lines.
Not from what we're seeing.
Of course, you hear the spin in the media, the different things, but you're right on the front lines, so you're definitely qualified to make an educated, assertion as to what's going on out there.
Right, and if you go onto healthcare.gov, we're listed as one of the application counselors, so they can call us, schedule, come in, and we'll sit down with them and help them get enrolled. But I've been very surprised the last 2 years at the response, and it hasn't been good. And I've reported that to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid.
Now, one of your services, or one of the selling points to your service, is controlling medical costs, right? By getting in there and negotiating with service providers. Medical costs in general, everything is on the increase, but what is it really going on out there with medical costs from what you're seeing? Are they rising exponentially on the consumer?
67%. It's going up. It's projected to go up in the next couple of years.
So what are some ways we as consumers can, put a slowdown to that? I mean, what can we do?
Yeah, that's a great question, because anytime we close a case, we always talk to the client about what can you do going forward to manage this. And what we say to them is a couple of things. Number one, what I always say is don't become a consumer. Try to stay out of the healthcare system for as long as possible. Secondly, take care of yourself. Get your baseline diagnostic procedures every year, but take care of yourself. Stay out of the emergency room. People go to the emergency room that really should be going to urgent care walk-ins. And the fourth one is to understand your insurance policy, what it will pay for and what it won't pay for, so you can project out what your healthcare usage is going to be for the year and how much that's going to cost you.
Another service do you offer? What about just you just mentioned insurance is right there. What about you got a policy, and even before you have an issue, do you sit down or will you sit down with people and really review that insurance policy with them, for instance, and,
yes,
and explain to them what's in there? Because I don't even know what's in my
yes,
insurance policy.
Yes, we had a case recently. A 63-year-old man had a heart attack and had a policy, and he misread the policy that he was only out of pocket for $25,000. The reverse was the true was that that's all they were going to pay was $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to the hospital, was treated, but left with a bill for $72,000. Now we got some of that drilled down, but we were basically able to get the bill written off to charity because he qualified under the federal poverty laws.
Wow. Let me ask you this. What is the future of employer-sponsored health care? In the past, it was pretty much a given. You went to work for somebody and they provided health care, and they still do a lot of times, but it's a changing environment. In your opinion, 20, 30 years from now, is health care going to be provided, as a benefit by employers?
Hopefully. I think Obamacare is going to work, but it's going to take some time. And I think when we get into the end of this decade, into the next decade, you'll see some real positive outcomes. We're also going to get through some of the aging baby boomers. We'll start passing through the system, me included. And then you'll have a healthier group coming up behind that, I think. But I think also that new technologies are going to come on board. They come on board every day. New drugs and drug therapies are coming on. So you're going to see a real shift to either folks are going to either start taking care of themselves better and become more empowered consumers, or this is just going to continue to get out of hand.
Yeah, well, I think we've done a great job as a society in eliminating the smoking risks.
Yes.
You don't see the smoking like it used to, and we have an epidemic with obesity, though, and
diabetes.
And diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a huge challenge for healthcare providers.
It'll
in the
continue
future.
to be a challenge, but I think that we're on our way. We just have to have a plan, execute the plan, and get everybody on board. But we are the largest healthcare system in the world.
Yeah.
So
right now, you started this company, Putnam Health Advocates, 2007?
1999.
1999,
Right.
Okay. And what have you grown it today? How many clients are you serving roughly? What's your staffing look like?
Well, we probably have about 10,000 covered lives, maybe 11,000 covered lives for the employer group. We don't hurt for business.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Well, it's a new concept that I wasn't even aware was out there for people. So something I always say on my show, I learn something new on my show every day. And Putnam Health Advocates, a resource for patients out there to assist you out there in the medical landscape. Thank you very much for being on the show. And you, again, can learn more about Anna at PutnamHealthAdvocates.com. Anna Englert, founder and CEO of the company. Thank you very much again for being on the show. Also, thank you to Billy Quarantello, the MMA fighter who was on just the last segment. And we wish him the best on the show or in his career as a MMA fighter. Well, I will be back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And also a reminder to make note of the show Sundays at 5 a.m. on 970 WFLA, the real estate edition of That Business Show. And again, be sure to follow me on Twitter under Jamie_Meloni. I will be back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So I hope everybody has a great day. And you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.